Today we're going to be checking out the flaring tool again. I want you to just go through another video with this. They're really great. The things are fantastic. And it comes with two blocks. One's millimeters, one's SAE. But it comes with both. If you try to get one of the single ones, it costs more money. It's not worth it. Get the one with two because you get electric everything. So in other words, it works with your impact gun or a drill. So this is the one to get. This thing has a little guide, so you can only stick out so far. And so we're going to be using a 1/2 inch today and 1/4 inch. So we just simply slide this over to 1/2 inch. Okay, you take it, put it right on there. It just touches. As soon as you put it on there, it just touches right where you want it to go. Okay, so take it, pop it right on, and clamp it with your hand. That's that block. It sets it up. Then you take you pop it right on. Take your flare tool. Remember to always take your flare tool and put a little bit of pump oil on it. Okay, always just put a little bit of pump oil on it all the way around. Okay, you don't want it to gouge or thrash or anything. You want this thing to last as long as possible. You don't want to start messing it up by not keeping it lubed up. Take your tool. It just automatically pushes that thing out of the way. And you want to tighten this up. This here is the block tightener, and it has a little thing right here. You can see the little pieces, so you can see exactly where it's at. Okay, and it rides right where it goes. On both sides, this side here's got a little ball bearing on it, and this side here's got the little tightener on it. Okay, so you simply just tighten it up. And both of them have a clutch kind of, you know what I mean? You have to have this thing here tightened up, because if you don't tighten it, then when you go to put in your flare, you can just push the pipe right out. Okay, so it's important to tighten it up. All right, then you take your tool, just the same tool, it's a regular drive. Okay, take it, put it right on there. It has a little clutch on it, so you can't go too far. Then just back it out. Then back out the block tightener. And if it's like normal, we have a perfect flare. Okay, this one's 1/4 inch, so you simply slide that over to 1/4. Put it right on there, clamp it on, and then it's good to go. When you go to put your tool on, it's automatic, and it'll just come over and push that out of the way. So it pushes it out of the way and locks into that spot. Okay, you want to double check it again. It has a little arrow right there. You can see that, yeah, I think you can see it. Little arrow right there, it points right to the thing, it points right to the line, and it has little divots on both sides to lock it into place. So when you get down to where approximately it is, you simply move it around and make sure you're right on. You double check with the line, it's all perfect. Take your impact or drill, tighten that up. That's lovely. I'm so glad I did that. I'm such a pain in the neck. I always tell everybody how to do things right, and I just mess up all the time. I mean, it happens a lot. I did not put my nut on there. I just did all that work, well, 30 seconds worth of work, but still, I didn't have my nut on there. You got to put the nut on each and every time, man. It's not easy to remember everything, so just go ahead and take it off, and I'll show you how to do that. Set it on there and take off the whole section, okay, all the way up to the flare. You don't want to push too much on that because you just crush the pipe for no reason. It takes a couple extra seconds longer than if you turn it real fast, but it doesn't hurt. Okay, and then take our tool. Okay, we're ready once again. We got our nut on this time. It happens. Never said I was perfect. I'm just trying to do the best I can. Take it and slip it right onto your 1/4 inch. And again, this thing here stops it from going. So you just push it in there. It stops on the rail. And use that to clamp it on. Okay. Take your tool. And right onto it. Again, look for the little line. Beautiful. Let me go ahead and take you in. Literally perfect. All right, looks good. Just a little bit, and just take it all the way around, that same little bit. All the way around the flare face. That's all, not on the threads. It's always best to have a torque wrench, but if you can't find one that fits these things, I have the best in the world and none of them fit these nuts. Some nuts are just not created for us. I don't know where they get them at or whatever, but anyway, this is how you do it if you don't have a torque wrench. And doesn't mean you shouldn't buy a torque wrench, doesn't mean you shouldn't get them. I'm just telling you, sometimes the nuts don't work. They're not the right size. So take your, you want to make sure the body never moves. This is the body right here. Okay, it's the part that's it's brazed on. And then your nut is the part you just hook to it. Okay, so you want your body to make sure it does never move. It literally has to hold strong. And you just simply move the nut itself. Okay, so take your nut and put it on there. You want to tighten it up. Okay, and then loosen a hair, not a lot, just a hair. All right, just a hair. Then tighten it up more than it was. That's it. And then again, you're going to do a pressure test, a nitrogen pressure test up to the rated capacity of the system, which is around 550 pounds or so. And you're going to double check this after you do your nitrogen test, and you're going to double check it on the final test, which is after everything's on and running and everything. Then you're going to come back out and test it. And then if it's nothing, while it's running, everything's moving, refrigerant's in the line and jamming, then you check it again one last time. And if nothing's leaking, then you go ahead and finish your line setup. Okay, your line set cover. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one here. Again, you make sure your body is not going to move. I stress that over and over because we had 3 or 4 people in the last 2 months that have stripped this all the way off because they let this turn, and it's a weak point because it's been brazed and it's heated up. So they just twisted it right off, and they had to have this whole thing redone and rebraze the whole system. It's a lot of extra work. I don't mind it because I'm good at brazing, but everyone else doesn't have all the tools for it and has all the extra work involved. So in other words, if you don't want to do a whole bunch of extra work involved, don't let that body turn. Just the nut itself. Okay? Tighten it up a little bit and loosen it a hair and tighten up a little more than it was. That's it. Okay, then again, you're going to do it with the pressure check to find out and make sure it's perfect. Okay? I've never had one leak. One time I had one leak, but it wasn't my fault. It was another system I was working on. And so the point is, I've never had them leak during my pressure test. So I'm going to show you the pressure test when I do this one too, and I'll show you this not leaking. Okay, it's best to have a torque wrench, but if you can't, if they literally the nuts won't work, then you have to use 2 crescent wrenches, and that's the way to do it. You tighten it up, not terribly, just good and tight, and then you go back a hair, then go back a little bit more than it was. That's it. That's the system. Okay? Again, make sure you use nylon on the flare face only, not on the threads, and then you'll be good to go.